So now that you've determined the house you want to make an offer on, we need to talk about a few key points within the purchase contract that we can fill in the blanks and then get it over to the seller for their consideration. The first item we're going to talk about is the purchase price. So what I'll do is I'm going to take a look at the comparable sales in that area. So I'm going to find similar homes, similar size, similar location that sold within the last month, 2-3 months, hopefully at the max. And then that's going to give us an idea of what those buyers pay for those similar homes. And that'll give us an idea of what this home is worth. And then take that into consideration with the market that we're in, whether it's seller, buyer market, or an equilibrium market. Then that'll really help us determine whether we should come in above the list price, below the list price, or somewhere right around the list price. The next thing we're going to talk about is close of escrow. So the close of escrow is a time period between when we open escrow, when both parties sign the purchase contract, and when we close escrow, when the buyer officially becomes the owner of the home. So within this time period, we need time for the 10-day inspection period, we need time for the appraisal to be completed, and we need time for your lender to do everything they need to do to prepare the loan and get you final loan approval. Sometimes they go back and forth with the lender on certain things that they need to get from you, like tax returns and pay stubs and all that stuff. So we'll actually look to your lender to determine how long they need to get this loan done. Unless they've done some legwork ahead of time, we're probably looking between 30 to 45 days. The next thing we're going to talk about is the earnest deposit. So this is an amount of money. It's refundable, but it's the amount of money the buyer pays the title company. Title company holds on to it. And this shows how earnest the buyer is in purchasing the home. There's no set amount. So it really depends on the type of market that we're in, buyer, seller, equal market. That kind of determines whether or not we'll offer a couple $1,000s, or maybe we want to offer $5,000 or $10,000. Sometimes we might want to make it non-refundable if we really want to make an aggressive offer. You're comfortable with the house, you're comfortable knowing that you're most likely going to buy it. There's different ways to negotiate depending on the type of market that we're in. So the next thing that we need to decide is the title company you want to use. Unless you do a lot of buying and selling of real estate, you probably don't have a preferred title company. And if you don't, that's cool. I have one one or two at least, that I know I've used multiple times. I would use personally, and we can just go with one of those because I know they get the job done. They know what they're doing, and I have full confidence in them. The next thing we want to talk about is a home warranty. So I usually suggest to my clients that they purchase a home warranty at least for a year. That way you'll have a peace of mind knowing that you'll have some coverage in the home if something breaks, like the AC unit, or if the roof leaks, or the water heater starts leaking or breaks, things of that nature. We need to make sure when you're picking the home warranty company, you need to see what they don't cover, because every home warranty company has a list of things that they don't cover, and that's the most important thing you need to know. You need to be comfortable with the items they don't cover, and you need to know that ahead of time. And then home warranty companies will typically charge you an amount of money every time you make a claim, anywhere from $75 to $150 every time you contact them and say, hey, this isn't working or that isn't working. The other thing we need to determine is who's going to pay for it, because that is optional and negotiable within the purchase contract. The last thing we need to talk about is the contract expiration date. This is just the amount of time that we need to give the seller to review and respond to the offer. Not a big deal, but it can be 24 hours, or it could be 3 days, or it could be until we withdraw it from consideration. So kind of depends on the market that we're in terms of whether we give them 24 hours or a week, or any time in between. Once we have all that information, we enter in the purchase contract, we get all that stuff completed, we'll fire it off to the seller, and then we'll wait for them to accept it.